Alright, so let's take a look at this Dissidia banner. Oh no, I want to look at the event, not just the banner. See if we get anything fun in it. First off, we get new dress records. Is everyone pumped? We get Amano Terra, which is Blonde Terra, and a new Cecil. I don't know. Let's see if this is in the comments. No. So I don't know what Cecil's looks like. I probably won't use it because I like Cecil's sprite at the moment. But I will use Terra's because I think I just personally like Blonde Terra better. New Legend Spheres, Gabranth, Kuja. Let's take a look at their dives. Gabranth Dark. Kuja Dark, this is perfect because that will affect soul breaks as well as abilities. Everything that they do is dark damage, so that's what you want. Minor blind resist and minor confuse resist. This sucks because most people at least get a moderate, and minor blind or minor resist doesn't really do much. It's just a nice thing to add on top of a moderate resist. Looking Kuja's instance, he has minor silence and medium silence, and they both stack. So that's not bad, even though silence resist isn't that useful because it's really easy to resist silence. Will Maul get a legend dive with this event? Can't say. Maybe. Probably not. No. I don't see why he would, because this is a Dissidia event and Mog has nothing to do with Dissidia. But maybe they will, because, you know, they do weird things. I don't know. Whatever. It is kind of cool, I'll admit. I like his default sprite, though. We'll see. We'll see how I feel about it. The resists... Neither of the resists are very appealing to me. I suppose Kuja's is better since if there's a fight that does elemental damage but also silences people, he can say, well, I don't have to worry about carrying silence resist. I can just use elemental resist instead. So there's that. So I'd say Kuja's overall is better. But this is the important part of people's dives, I think. Making sure that their 9% damage boost works with what they do. And both of them work. Legend Materia, we will look at that on Enliers. Kuja is reduces damage taken by BLK attacks by 10%. Sucks. But 35% chance to dual cast dark abilities redeems that. That's obviously a really nice thing. Especially when you consider that his BSB and eventually... No, his BSB, because he doesn't even have a USB yet. It's just unfortunate. I hope there's a Final Fantasy IX event coming soon in Japan. Because Kuja used to be a really fantastic character. And, you know, for Global, he still is. He's still really good at what he does. He's not the top Dark Imperil, but he's the top damaging Dark Imperil. And I would really like to see his character take off a little more. So at least he has a nice LM2, and his LMR is on this banner. Gabranth is attack plus X for each hit dealt with attacks that deal dark damage up to X%. Sucks. So Gabranth's Legend Dive sucks. So let's take a look at the banners. Kuja needs a USB. He does. I wish that they had put Kuja on Superfest 2 and gave him the magical darkness chain instead of Seymour. The problem is it's just attack. At the end of the day, it is just an attack boost, and it still takes time to ramp up. It's not like Refia's is only okay because it's instantaneous and full and for 50%. But it being attack and it being a ramp, even if it's a quick ramp, it's still a ramp. And yeah, Seymour did need it more, that's true. Kuja Beatrix event would be awesome. Kuja Beatrix event would be awesome. Okay, so Gabranth, USB. 10 single target, dark non-elemental, and dark. Attack, defense, plus 30%. So, damage buff, stat buff. I mean, look here. He even gives himself an attack buff on his USB, which, I mean, most USBs do. It's just inside the X mode. And Quick Cast 1, and additionally gain Quick Cast 1 when using dark abilities for a short period. I believe we're calling this Aggression. Aggressor. Grants attack dark, attach dark, aggressor, and quick cast 1 to the user. For those who know it, Lightning's USB, it is an exact copy of that. He gets quick cast 1 whenever he attacks with a dark ability, I believe. Yep, quick cast 1 after using a dark attack for 15 seconds. So he doesn't get the high quick cast that Lightning does, so it's not as good. But this is still fine. This is just your typical rapid fire. Better than Lightning? No, no. Lightning is high quick cast, and Aggressor's only quick cast. Plus, Lightning gets, yeah. There's really no difference other than the plus 30% defense that Gabranth gets instead. And here's something I just noticed. Inside Lightning's USB is the attack plus 30%. It's inside the X mode, which means it's part of the unique status, which means it stacks with everything, not named X blinding, while Gabranth gets the attack and defense buff outside of the status, which means it does not stack with things that give attack and defense, like the in-realm buff from Rex. So, just something to think about. It's probably not going to be relevant all that often, but it's still good. True, yes. Attack and defense will last longer. So 25 second, while the aggressor buff only lasts for 15 seconds. Yep, that's what I just said, Mist. Welcome to the stream. Next up, we have Garland's CSB. Notice we've been used to 4 6-stars on banners for the past week or so because of the festival. This is the second and last 6-star on this banner. But it is a good one. It's Garland's Chain. They decided to make Garland not so crap and give him the Darkness Chain for physical. And it's an awesome one, to be honest. You gain a 22 attack dark physical damage, activate dark limit chain. What this means is the Darkness Chain itself grants a field effect of plus 20% darkness damage. And then on top of that, you add on another 22 notches on the chain. to start off a very, very, very powerful Dark Chain. So, yeah. Garland can assist the damage for your party a great deal, and that's a good thing, because it's actually a lot more difficult, I think, at least at this point in the game, to assemble a physical darkness team than it is a magical darkness team. The specter that is Sid Raines looms large, and all of those Imperil Darkness mages definitely impact that as well. So having a very powerful Imperil Dark, as well as a very powerful Rapid Fire Dark character in Gabranth on this banner, as well as Garland's Chain, is trying to tell you, you know, you can make physical dark now if you would like to do that. Ricky, if I just had to imagine team scenarios, I would say no. Ever since I started using Titus's Chain in the Living Flame, I've just realized how powerful that Quick Cast 2 is to party, and I love it, and I wouldn't trade it for any of the other effects. So while I like this one a lot, if I had a choice, I'd take the Party Quick Cast 2. Next up, we move into the BSB section, which we have 4 of them. Oh, shit. And it's the often occurring Sephiroth BSB2. We've seen this on the Cloud USB banner, we saw this on the Vincent USB banner, and now we have seen this on the 3rd banner of the 30th Anniversary Festival. So it's kind of nice because it's not a bad dupe at all. It's actually one of the better dupes in the game at the moment, so it's really not that bad. And it's also a good burst too, so that's fine. But anyway, Sephiroth's BSB2 is a lot of single target dark damage, gives him end dark, gives him self dual blink too, which is just an added effect because usually you're just dealing with damage and the N element of a burst, but he gets a free effect. It just protects him against damage. So that's nice, and he has a very powerful first command for dealing dark damage, and a Dark Bargain command. So it's just a really well put together burst. And a plus darkness damage katana. Oh, by the way, neither of these are plus darkness damage. Highway Star and Runax 1 and 2, they're both Realm Synergy only darkness damage up. So whatever. Next up, we have Gabranth's BSB. I talked about this briefly while talking about Garland's. And it's actually a good BSB, because it's one of those Imperils that has a quick cast command. He has a 4-hit half cast time command 1, and a command 2 not even worth using, but that's okay, because his command 1 is really just that good. So, you know, you're in there, because that's what you want out of an Imperil, because you want Imperilers to be attacking faster, so they can generate more soul break gauge instead of, you know, just straight up dealing more damage. Compare that to Kuja, who has regular cast time commands, but they hit really hard if you're under Doom status. Great for dealing damage. Great for dealing damage. He has massive multipliers. But Gabranth is better at doing his job because he imperils faster than Kuja can. And Nightbringer is a small dark damage up. I don't even know. It's probably a sword. I think it's a sword. Terra's Legacy for Kuja is a dark damage rod. An older one, so it's only got 128 base magic, but still good. And the BSB itself, I I've actually just talked about it enough already. Random target imperil, and both of the commands, one is single target and one is area of effect. They're both very powerful, and they are that powerful because he can easily put himself under the doom status, and he does a hell of a lot of damage. So he's not really a primary imperiler because he can't stack it that quickly. He's not a huge soul break user, even with a striker equipped. But yeah, I think he's still really good. Just kind of a hybrid, I guess. He's a hybrid between an imperiler and an element character, and that's not a bad thing. So this is pretty damn good BSB too. So all three BSBs so far have been fairly decent for what they do, or stronger. And next we get up to the first dud of the banner, which is Jack's old BSB. 8 single target, dark physical, and dark and burst mode. And as you can see from the commands, they're just regular multiplier commands. There's nothing special about them. It's just 4 single target, 2 area effect. It's plain as you can get. So Legend Materia time. We have 3 of them, belonging to 3 of the hits on the banner so far. So that's nice. Good evening, Light. Gabrath is start battle within dark. This is fine. This is fine because I think no. I think in both situations with Gabrath, whether you're using USB first or you're using BSB first, I think it benefits you to get into it as fast as possible, whether for the aggressor, for the quick casting, or for getting access to the imperil and the quick casting command of his BSB. So it's not like it makes much sense to spam a dark ability at the start of the fight to take advantage of the dark damage. Maybe against a target that's natively vulnerable to dark, it would be alright. So it's okay. At the very least, if you were to use Life Siphon to get into either of those soul breaks, you would still be at least doing 80% additional damage on the soul break cast itself. And in the case of the burst soul break, since it doesn't give you Endark, the Endark would carry over and help you deal additional damage with your commands after using it. So definitely works better with the BSB than the USB, but still good for either. Is Gabrath Legend Dive good? No, it's not. We took a look at it when I was looking at the Mega Thread, and it's not. It's pretty awful. It's one of those iterative attack plus a percentage for each hit dealt with attacks that deal dark damage. So, unfortunate. Garland. When critical HP, self-heal for 100% and gain quick cast for a short period of time. This is the LMR version of a trance mode. It's not as powerful, but I think it carries the best parts of trance mode. So for a normal trance mode, let's take Terra's, for instance. Terra, when she's critical HP, she heals up to 100% and then gains a whole bunch of stats and times 2 cast speed for a short period of time, which is 25 seconds, I believe. We'll check that for Garland's. I just want to make sure. Grants quick cast when HP falls below 20%. So it's a 25-second cast speed times 2. It's just a unique status version of Terra's. So you lose the stats because it's an LMR. And what LMRs are, it's 25 seconds like a normal trance. LMRs are just a slightly reduced potency version of an LM2. So Gabranth has a trance as his LMR and loses the stats that someone like Terra gets. But he keeps the quick cast, which I believe is the most important part. So this is actually a good LMR, strangely. So Terra Trance. Notice this is the exact same thing, except she gets stats. It's kind of nice, honestly. Unfortunately, Garland's Legend Dive is kind of awful, but that's okay because, if you pull his LMR, then, you have what it takes. You have what you need for his Legend stuff. And him gaining quick cast is nice because the only good part about Garland is his chain. So, it's actually pretty decent. Kuja, Trino's Royalty. It's a 10 damage, dark damage resistance. The LMR itself is start battle with Dark. Well, this is good for Kuja because it's not like he has access to anything to quick charge anyway. So at the start of the fight, you are going to probably Memento Mori and then Dark Zone until you can BSB. If you're not using Mako Might or Dr. Mark's teachings, which I probably don't suggest doing. So he's going to do a lot of damage with those Dark Zones. And remember, Dark Zone also gets buffed to 4 hits. And the reason why I say Dark Zone is because I think it's Dire Heal, Dread Heal, whichever, is good, but doesn't get increased damage when you're under Doom. And you want to Doom Kuja anyway because he gets a bunch of extra damage on his commands because of it. So might as well capitalize on Memento Mori and Dark Zone. Though, because Kuja is a full Sage, and you want to carry Protector or Shelga on someone in the party, and Kuja's your only guy for it, then you could do that instead and say, okay, well, no Doom for Kuja. He's going to be an Imperil bot. So I'm going to carry Protecta, and since I can't carry Memento Mori, there's no real reason for me to carry Dark Zone, so I will carry Dire Heal instead. Would you consider honing the physical version of Dire Heal? Yes. But the one time that I've used it so far is in a Sid mission. Final Fantasy XI Sid mission. I used it on Zeed. And I'll probably use it again, but probably in just Sid missions because my Darkness team is so heavily weighted towards magic. I've Nabat, Kuja, and Sid Reigns. Hello, Lifeguard Dan. Welcome. Alright, so we've moved through the so-called premiere part of the banner. And what have we encountered so far other than the awfulness, the awful mediocrity, there we go, of Jex BSB is a pretty good Darkness banner. Mostly physically weighted though. So how I feel about this banner right now is if you're really not that strong in Magical Dark, you haven't gone down the Sid Reigns train. Sid Reigns could fit onto a physical dark banner because he's Sid Reigns. So if he is all you have, or you don't even have him, then you may want to think about taking advantage of this, because we are going to be getting those holy and dark magicites soon. And this is, I don't know of a better place to get darkness damage than this. But if you are able and like magical darkness, if you're in my boat, you can gladly skip this banner. I think even if I didn't have Kuja, if I just had one of Kuja or Nabat and Sid Reigns, I would probably say, all right, that's cool. I don't need physical dark. I'm okay there. Yep, that's why I called it mediocre. It is exactly what it is. It's not awful. It's just so far down the list of usefulness at this point that he's there to plug a hole that you unfortunately haven't been able to plug yet. You just hate the fact that you have to plug it with that. Garland. So we're at the supers. Oh, first, now that we're at the supers, I want to count the percentage distribution. Would I consider an Ash BSB dupe good? Yeah, I would. I only have one plus lightning magical armor, and I wouldn't mind another. So we got 1, we have 2, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So Garland and Kuja get the 2%ers, and Jack's Super Soul Break gets a 1%. And thank goodness, because it's the worst Super Soul Break on the banner. First up, we have Garland's Bardiche, which is actually a good super as far as supers go. 5 area effect, enemy attack and defense minus 50%. It's just a strong stat debuff super, and those are fine. Kuja, 5 area effect, non-elemental, and dark. It's okay, but I think we're primary interested in here is the dark damage up of the relic itself. You know what? I may have erred. Because Jek's Guise is also dark damage up on light armor, and while stat debuff supers are fine, I would place them lower on the priority. Lower on the totem pole of priority than elemental armor at this point. So even though I don't really care about Jack's Super Soul Break at all, as a relic, like that's kind of what I want from the Super Soul Break of a section of a banner now, because in our current format there's still higher percentage. So you're pulling for the stuff higher on the banner, but you're probably going to get dupes of stuff lower on the banner. If I'm going to get dupes of something, I want it to be good dupes. And elemental armor and weapons are better dupes. So, I wish that Kuja and Jax were the 2%ers here, but at least Kuja's is. If you have 6, yeah, there's absolutely no reason to keep anything but 2 8-stars. Ugh. Noctis Super Soul Break. It transcends the category of Super Soul Break. So how's everyone feel about this banner? I already voiced my opinion on it when I talked about Reigns and having dark damage and possibly going down the physical road. It's good for people that need dark. Yeah. It's a pass for me. But I'm sure there are a few people out there that could make use of what this banner is providing. the next season of Deadwood. The next season plays in my head all the time. Other than upcoming Magicite, Dark is an element they rarely use for vulnerability. Yeah, that's true. But the Magicite dungeon is fairly important. Oh, Consolitude. That's up in the air right now. We've all taken breaks. We're just trying to like recollect ourselves. So I'm streaming a lot. This is my 11th day in a row, 10th or 11th day in a row streaming, and that's basically going to be what I do from now on. And then Ash Monster is also streaming every day. Yeah, it is kind of a panic button for Miss Dragon. With the availability of Reigns BSB on the gem banner, I don't know, it just seems like Magical Dark is so powerful. Yeah, Cloud of Darkness as BSB1 is pretty awesome. I think it's sneaky good. Because it's hard to gauge how useful Radiant Shield is to a party. What's my holy team going to be? At the moment, not a whole lot. I'm kind of banking on that Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced banner. So I have Agrius with her BSB at the moment. Hello, Caspa. Oh yeah, Celeste, that's right. But again, they're not enough. Because I know what happens with Shadow Dragon. Shadow Dragon's an interesting fight. It's a little different from other Magicites, where if you're unable to deal a certain amount of damage within like 11 seconds, I think, 10 or 11 seconds, he'll just kill one of your characters. And neither Agrius or Celeste are good at burst damage. So I actually do not have the team to do Shadow Dragon all that well. Yeah, it's Black Fang. But Final Fantasy Tactics Advance will change that. It's going to be hard for that banner not to change it, even if I miss on a ton of things. It's just, it is the greatest holy banner that we've maybe ever seen. Yeah, a Rise to Recover, but my goal is 30-second clears. I know that I can kill Shadow Dragon. I have the pieces to kill Shadow Dragon. I just don't have the pieces to kill him quickly. Because neither Agrius, in my Agrius's current state, or Celeste are really built for that kind of thing. Now, Reigns is. And what's funny is I do have a Holy OSB. 2 Holy OSBs, by the way. And Warrior of Light and Hope. Hope can't actually deal holy damage. Besides Diega. So he's not really an option. Good evening, Jumbo Cactuar. 120k damage and 8 turns to avoid Black Fang. Alexander. Okay. I'll get right back to you on that one. Five or 6 uses of Alexander will not be enough. Well, it could be both, Ricky. He may take 8 turns in 10.5 seconds. Since the fight is pretty damn scripted. Medine would be much better. Yes, Will. I reviewed the Dissidia event that will be happening this week, Bliven.